It's the Happy Families Podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Kylie came to me the other day and said we need to do a What Your Child Needs for Christmas This Year podcast episode. Kylie told me that she had come up with 2 things beginning with P that our children need and wanted to do an episode about that. So I came up with a couple of P's as well. I'm really excited to share my P's for Christmas. 4 things that your children need for Christmas, beginning with P, because alliteration is fun. Kylie, we're going to go one-on-one. You first, then me. What was your first P?
Look, I don't know what you've got in mind, but you won't find any of my gifts under the tree. You can't wrap them. You can't buy them.
Right.
But I think they will bring a lot more joy to your Christmas experience.
So now, while you're talking about your first P for Christmas that is apparently not under the tree, I'm going to rewrite my other 2 Ps because...
The kids do not need penguins, just saying.
What's your first one?
Peace. I think back to all of the experiences that we've had over the years with Christmas and the amount of stress and strain parents put on themselves to provide this perfect experience for our kids. And I think that as I've thought back on those experiences, I have spent more Christmases exhausted or grumpy because I'm exhausted as a result of trying to create that perfect space. What our kids actually need is this stress-free environment where mum and dad are actually joyful in the experience instead of being worried about making sure the creme brulee is, fired up or whatever it is.
I love that you said creme brulee. I don't think we've ever had creme brulee for Christmas, ever.
I am thinking about it. I would really like some about now.
This is beautiful, and I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with the concept, but it doesn't feel practical because there's family coming to visit or we've got to go to families' homes. The kids wake up and they make a lot of noise and there's anything but peace. And I don't know if the kids want things to be peaceful.
Peaceful, and I'm not suggesting it needs to be quiet, and I'm going to use the word reverent.
Oh, by the way, I like the idea of a peaceful Christmas day. With 6 kids, some peace and quiet's nice.
You don't need to take the word peace literally. I'm not suggesting you need to be quiet and hushed and all of that kind of stuff. But it's an opportunity to let go of all of the angst, all of the worry, all of the stresses, and just be together in that moment. You can make as much noise as you want.
Yeah, okay, very good. Now, I know I said we were going to go you, me, but I'm really interested in what your second one is, and I'm the one pushing the buttons. So what's your second one?
It's a little bit cliche. We've all heard it before. Our kids need our presents, not presents.
Okay.
And it really taps in beautifully with my initial one of peace.
Yep.
That acknowledgement that what they actually need is mum and dad to be in the moment, present with each other instead of worrying about how many presents they've got under the tree. When our family was young, we used to travel up the freeway every Christmas day. We were either staying with one family and then we traveled to the other family, or we would be interstate, and so we actually weren't in our own home. The kids didn't wake up in their own beds. They didn't unwrap gifts underneath their own Christmas tree. And I think our eldest was about 10 when they finally looked at us and they just said, can we just wake up in our own bed and have Christmas at home?
I remember I told my family that, and I'm the oldest of 6 kids myself, and my younger siblings were like, I can't believe you're not going to show up for Christmas. And I was like, well, I've got my own family now. And they all accused me of being really selfish. Over the years, several of them have come to me and said, we gave you a really hard time about that, but we're all feeling it now because they've all got younger families who are growing, and they're sort of going, it's really nice to wake up in your own home on Christmas Day. But whether you do or not, it really it's about, I say this all the time, kids spell love Time. And of all the times of the year where this is supposed to happen, Christmas Day is the day where you would expect that this would be absolute, where we're really available for one another.
And I think if you were to ask each of our kids now what is their favourite Christmas experience, it is literally being able to wake up together. They open up their stockings on our bed, which is getting rather small these days now that we've got all of these big bodies.
Not to mention a son-in-law who sits on the edge of the bed as well. It's a bit weird, a bit uncomfortable.
And then we just enjoy time together. We actually don't make a big deal about Christmas brunch or anything like that. We really just have a swim in the pool. We'll go to the beach. But it literally is a laid back, chill day where it's peaceful in that we're not worried about anything else and we are in the moment with each other.
And I need to just quickly add, in case Jared's listening, you can sit on the edge of our bed on Christmas morning anytime. It's no problem. Just want to be clear about that. So your two P's that our children need, the gifts that our children need this Christmas are, number one, they need peace. That is, we want to have a home that has an absence of conflict. Doesn't have to be hushed and quiet, but rather there's a peaceful atmosphere where we can just enjoy being together, which ties in with your second one, which is presents, and not the presents under the tree. Although, let's be honest, if they don't get any of those, they're going to be pretty disappointed. They need both kinds of presents. They need our presents and a few things to unwrap that are going to be.
Can we wrap up the pool this year?
Let's not talk about that. Going to be suffering financially for years because of that one. So they're the two that you come up with, the two P's that our children need. I've also done a little bit of work on this, Kylie.
Please tell me there's no penguins.
There are no penguins. You are absolutely safe.
Okay.
What
are your two P's?
My two P's, now that I've been thinking about it, number one, playfulness. I think on a Christmas day, playfulness is about lightheartedness, bringing that joyful energy and counterbalancing the potential seriousness of peace. Which I'm not bagging it. I actually quite like it. But you can be peaceful and present and still be playful.
Yes, of course.
And I think if we can remember that connection is about being seen and heard and valued, that doesn't always have to be serious. Like normally when we're talking about connection and being present, we're talking about being there and holding our children's hands as they go through a big emotion and looking into their eyes and validating and doing all of the emotion coaching stuff. But you can be present and you can have peaceful interactions.
Is it about being at peace with yourself and at peace with the relationships in the room?
Yeah, and just playing.
Yeah.
I think if we can play some silly games and share some wonderfully bad dad jokes and have unexpected fun. And
last year we did a whole heap of those minute to win it challenges.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The kids just loved it.
It's so much fun. It's about full engagement and enjoying each other's company. And you know something that you didn't mention in your list of things beginning with P, you know what our kids don't need that starts with P? They don't need perfection.
Mm.
And we keep on shooting for perfection on Christmas Day, and you're just not going to get there. I think that it's about delight and humor and presence and having a peaceful day, and you're going to have a more perfect Christmas that way than shooting for a perfect Christmas tree and a perfect layout and spread on the table and a perfectly cooked meal and a perfectly balanced diet and a perfectly wrapped gift. The perfection is irrelevant. It's about playfulness so much more. So that's my first one.
And what is your second?
My second one, I'm going to get a bit deep on this one. We've made no secret of the fact that we have a faith background. And so Christmas is a really sacred time of year for us. It's a time where we celebrate the birth of the individual, the person that we believe is the most important person to ever walk the planet. It's a time of reflection. It's a time of recognizing Jesus in our lives. And so I want to add purpose. Now, you don't have to be religious for Christmas to be a time of purpose, but I think that when we consider the meaningful aspects of Christmas beyond consumerism and the surface level celebrations, and we intentionally create traditions and develop shared values and connect with the spiritual or the philosophical significance of the day and of the season, it makes the day beautiful. And so we have traditions around the purpose of Christmas in our home, where we open up the Bible and we read the Bible story from Luke chapter 2 and from Matthew, and we spend time in that. And we spend time singing not just Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and We Wish You a Merry Christmas, but we spend time singing Silent Night. And there's something deep and profound and meaningful about having the P of purpose in Christmas. This is the P that I think transforms Christmas from a potentially chaotic event into an opportunity for really intentional family bonding. A few years ago, I read a book called Born This Happy Morning, and it introduced this idea of 3 levels of Christmas. Level 1 is Santa and jingle bells and decorating and gift giving, and that's the level that most of us are pretty happy going for on a Christmas day. Level 2 is about remembering the reason for the season. That is the beautiful, important part of Christmas, the shepherds, Joseph and Mary, a baby born in a manger. But level 3 Christmas is the love of Christ, that he would not only be born as a babe, but that he would die on the cross for our sakes. And I know that there are a lot of people who are listening who are not religious and might be rolling their eyes or getting ready to push the fast forward 30 seconds, move to the end. But whether you've got the religious tradition or some other purpose behind it, when we invoke purpose and bring that into our conversation, when we make that part of our Christmas, it feels different. It gives it a depth and a meaning that I think is so valuable. And it's something that I'm looking forward to on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day as we celebrate that level of Christmas with our kids as well.
4 gifts you won't find wrapped under any Christmas tree, but will make such a difference to the way you experience Christmas this year. Peace, presence, playfulness, and purpose. So we hope this makes your Christmas a merry and bright one.
Okay, and you've got about 20 days to pull those 4 things together and make sure that they're all set to go, as well as everything else that you're going to be doing. We really hope that it's a peaceful Christmas. We'll be back tomorrow on the Happy Families podcast with our second last I'll Do Better Tomorrow of the year. Thank you so much for listening. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. For more information and details and ideas about making your family happier, visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.